Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I'm Captain Foley,
I am Carl Coons.
and today we will be your comic relief, as we always are, because we've got the jokes. We got the dad jokes, we got the bad jokes, we got the British sense of humor, because even though I'm Canadian, I still have that dry British sense of humor. He's, of course, British. Of course, he's got an awful sense of humor. But that being said, comic relief. We're going to be talking about comics.
Well, specifically ships and comics.
Yes, ships from the Star Trek comics, which are officially licensed, kind of,
Yes,
maybe.
that is important.
But there are some cool designs in the
Yeah.
comics. Some of them are kind of like, "What? Why'd you do that?" It's because the artist doesn't, didn't really pay attention or care. But anyway, what are we looking at today, Samuel?
Yeah, exactly. The comics are a wide playground of odd things. We've looked at a couple before, from the Discovery, where it's a Alpha Discovery in a whole thing, and then a weird Klingon ship that was like, oh, that's cool, but weird. Well, here today we have something from the JJ verse or Kelvin timeline. It is it's the tuna cell Section 31 ship that we see, having conspiratorial works with the Romulans in one of the stories. And there's a Fauna Cell one too, but it's much more sort of just a classic Fauna Cell look. This, however, a bit more unique. And this was released after Into Darkness. They already had the idea of the JJ Section 31 stings. So, Stuart, have you seen this ship before? And what do you think of this Section 31 JJ verse ship?
I have seen it before, and I rather like this design. I like a lot of the JJ comics, to be honest. They even make the Enterprise look a lot better in the comics. It looks more proportionally correct and stuff from a lot of angles. But yeah, this one's really cool. It actually reminds me of the Acula class, which is I believe it's in Starfleet Command. It's got the nacelle up, one up and down. So it's kind of got that vibe, and then the whole vengeance from Into Darkness vibe as well. So it's actually a pretty cool design.
Although, I mean, Beyond the Black, stylistically, it doesn't really hold over much from Vengeance. Like, the nacelles are actually more TOS Connie in terms of rough angles, whereas Vengeance is much more like, ah! It's certainly weird. And I really wish that they'd kept the scale more consistent throughout JJ than the Discovery verse. Because, I mean, if you look at the windows, it looks to be only one row on the saucer. I kind of like that, this being a small ship, very kind of like a very thin one deck saucer. The bridge is clearly on the inside, hard to see. Tuna cells, fast response. Almost like the dagger of the Section One fleet. That's kind of the vibe I get.
No, I totally agree. It does not seem large. And yeah, it makes sense for Section 31 ships to not be very big, have a crew of like 30, 40 operatives. I do like that. They kind of have that in Discovery as well. Those Discovery Section 31 ships are not very big either.
Well, the
So
big
that,
ones at least are drone control ships, which gives them a reason at least to be big.
true enough, true enough. But yeah, the whole idea of the Vengeance being so huge was a great idea. For something menacing, but I think Section 31 would be more like this. I do like the fact that it is black. I kind of like that idea. Um, but those windows, which I assume are the bridge windows, seem to have nothing behind them, which to me is a little bit odd. I think they should be moved forward a little bit. Um, there's a few things about this design that kind of bug me, but I do like the idea of like a one deck kind of just small little ship. So, or like a horseshoe, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like it's different. It takes the idea of the native space. I think this is vaguely a concept from one of the from Into Darkness. I think this is now I'm sort of remembering the horseshoe idea. I think it might have been inspired. But what I like about this one, is the fact that the tuna cells or whatever they are actually quite different. It does take that Kelvin approach, but it isn't just a shuttle bay. It's that often these artists who aren't ship designers. You got to remember, comic artists. You're not going to be good at everything. Not everyone's good at everything, and so ship design is why you pay specific ship designers. Often that work might work 15, 20 years on the franchise. There's a reason for that. So this is a ship that does have a sense of design. I like the active choice to make the upper and lower portions different. You could easily make them the same, but they're different. I appreciate that. It adds a sense of function.
Well, I get the distinct impression that one of them's in a cell, the other might be, a holographic emitter of some
Yeah.
sort or something along those lines. It kind of gives me the vibe of the premonition that we looked at from Star Trek Armada, where the it looked like a dreadnought, 3 nacelle dreadnought, but the main upper part was actually the time displacement drive. I get the feeling that this might be something similar because it looks like the top one's the actual nacelle. The bottom one, because it's roughly the same shape but a little bit slimmer, different front, could be something else. And that glowing element at the front could in fact be a holographic projector of sorts, or some kind of even advanced weapon that draws power from the warp core down into that and feeds it through some coils or whatever through the length of the thing, and then amplifies it and shoots it out. That, I mean, there's lots of different things you could do with that, and that's kind of the vibe I'm getting. It's maybe not 2 nacelles, it's just the one.
Which just feeds to the ooh, interesting. I believe this should be actually cloak. I think that was part of it. Remember, the JJ verse obviously is a different universe, so the same rules don't apply. I think this one can actually cloak. I mean, yes, holographic maybe. They were certainly linked to Discovery, although obviously that was then made years later. So we're obviously adding retconningly connective tissue, and that was obviously not hologram so much as, well, it was. I guess it was an outer shell. For some reason, my brain goes to, what if it was a 2 nacelle? They are still nacelles, but one, like the top one, is the actual Section 31 high-end model that has a specific warp signature that is like a warp 9.3 in this era, and the bottom one is like can mask itself to lots of different signatures, so it can actively use the bottom warp nacelle and look as if it's an Andorian ship traveling at warp 4, or a Tellarite or a Klingon. So you've now, because in training long distances, you often look for the warp signature and, oh no, it's fine, it's a Romulan ship coming in close. That's fine. Oh no, what do you think?
Well, that's a great idea. Masking the warp signature is a fantastic idea, especially for a stealth ship. Because I mean, that applies to real life as well. I mean, any kind of covert surveillance vessel will, project false sensor readings or false radio signals to fool the enemy into thinking it's either on their side or somebody else, as opposed to the person that's actually doing the spying. So I absolutely love that idea. Great idea.
It's simple, but it gives a distinct difference. Because I mean, how would you even, not just like fake warp signature, like actively it alters whatever happens in the coils to do it. I mean, that's like a weird, cool bit of tech, but that feels like a Section 31 style. Oh, we've been doing it for years and years. It used to be a fake thing. Now we do it inside the coil. La la la. It's surprisingly well balanced, this ship.
Yeah, yeah, because I remember having seen this one quite a while ago, and really digging it. That being said, I feel kind of guilty for actually really liking the JJ comics. The stories are good. Like I said, they make the Enterprise look good. There's a lot of great aspects to them. So I wish that they'd been translated more to the movies. But it is cool seeing different ship designs. And again, this does remind me of the Acula. It's got that same kind of profile, which is one of my favorite ships as well. So I think that's why it kind of stuck with me.
Well, that's the thing, when you remove the narrative drive from people that aren't very good at that, as in Alex Kurtzman and Damon Lindelof, you take it out of their hands, you give them just a universe with characters. Well, people can tell good stories in that universe, especially without the pressure to sell millions of tickets, la la la. So that's why often. Well, I mean, how many movies are derived from books? A lot, because the books are built in a certain medium that can do a certain thing, more creatively driven. I do think, though, this ship would look weird in motion, how spindly it is. The saucer is so spindly. Whatever, there's like a point at the back, which I don't know what that would even be. There's, I think in motion it's going to look really odd. I think it should be thickened up slightly, or given maybe although I guess maybe the top element is the deflector. That would that's what you can see how much more bulked up their area is. It would make sense it would just be an add-on. But I was saying you can add a deflector to the bottom of the saucer, integrate that in. That might help to balance it out. But I mean, there's always something there that could be.
Yeah, and that being said, we can't. If this is the only view we have of it, we don't see it from other views. There could be something down there which is just kind of obscured right now. And yeah, as we've always said, once you see a ship in motion, it kind of changes your feeling for the ship sometimes. So it's hard to say, but just from the static image, I mean, I really enjoy this. I do kind of like the take on the nacelles that they're not straight. I kind of like that curved in approach. I didn't think I would, but again, in motion, it might change that feeling. So yeah, I totally agree with that.
Well, all the time, it's about balance, and it actually feels relatively imbalanced. You know, the nacelles aren't too long, they're not too spindly. They've got a lack of, like, they look more like well, a metal bar or some sort of weird painted marble. You know, there's a texture there which doesn't look as spaceshipy. You know, I certainly would love to have seen this more, you know, done as an actual ship rather than a comic ship. I think you could really flesh it out. It's one of the things. Maybe I have to steal this design and use it for a fan film ship at some point, but maybe like prime it up a little bit. I couldn't see myself doing the slanted nacelles, but maybe straight nacelles, but you add like details to the top and bottom functional, which make it look like it's got a curve, because it beefs up the front. Might be a way of doing it.
That'd be remarkably easy to do, yeah. So Eagle Moss, get on it. Start doing comic book ships now too. Come on, Eagle Moss.
Well, even harder. Yeah, make one perspective. I mean, but you look at things like Andrew Probert's Enterprise C, and then Tobias's model. I mean, it's the same, but he had to do a ton of things different to try and, you know, bring it to reality. But that's why, you know, I wanted to bring these ships up. I mean, this is in like one panel of one comic years ago, but it's a really interesting ship, and I wanted to, you know, I had literally a whole day searching through a boat ton of comics trying to say, yeah. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at. We actually like it, you know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, question though before we go, what if this had been the Vengeance?
I would have liked that, actually, to see something out of the box as far as something on screen in a movie that's not a pair of nacelles mounted where we've always seen them. To see something switched up, because we see them a lot in, like you said, comics, video games, things like that. These different nacelle designs and configurations. I would have loved to have seen this on screen. So if this would have been the Vengeance, it definitely would have got rid of that producers thing where we don't want people to mistake it for the Enterprise because the audience is stupid. Well, this is clearly different. So perfect. Go with it, guys.
Honestly, to me, it looks more aggressive.
Yeah.
It looks faster and more aggressive. The Vengeance, in comparison, looks like a big, fat, bloated, dull. You know what I mean? Whereas this is a very sleek, simple, refined. Also, make some changes, obviously, like give it a bridge, dome, some relatable pieces. Although I guess then running through the halls of the ship wouldn't be quite as impressive if it was like a 200-meter run just to go around the saucer. It's like, oh, there you go. And I mean, I think we'll always go on the side of more advanced, smaller, more powerful, rather than more powerful, bigger.
Yeah. And for a covert, the Section 31 ship should be smaller, in my opinion. So, but anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts on this design. Did you like it? Would you like it to have replaced the Vengeance? Does it fit in the Section 31 fleet for you? Let us know your thoughts down below. And if you are aware of the Aculate class, let me know if you like that ship and whether this one reminds you of that or not. So, anyway, until next time, guys, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the notification icon so you get notified every time we upload, because we got cool ships like this all the time. We love looking at them, we love breaking them down, and we love talking about them. So hopefully you guys do as well.
And of course, support us on Patreon if you can. It's really, really important to help this show coming to you every single week. And we have been for a very long time now. I want to do it for even longer with all the new shows coming out and shorts and things. Very important. It's monthly. Any amount makes a big difference. Or a one-time donation at trekyards.com. Click the donate button, easy peasy. Or join our lives each and every week about a multitude of topics, often episode reviews or ship things, whatever. Join those. Super chat a little bit to have your question, comment, answers part of the chat. Which is a great way of supporting the channel, and you know, we're YouTube creators. We need you guys' support to help us go. It's that simple. But thanks so much for continued support.
That's right. So until next time, guys, I'm Captain Foley.
Connor Kongs.
Bye, everybody.